Nothing. So it wasn't the solenoid. Pushrod Fury. Starter solenoid day. So I ran a test on the original, or the solenoid that was in the bike, and of course it wasn't working, so I ran a test on it, and 12 volts of course is supplied directly from the battery to the input, and then the output should also have 12 volts to the starter motor. But two things happen. One, the solenoid doesn't engage, and two, only 5 volts comes out the other side. So that indicates there's something flawed inside of it. So I bought an XL solenoid, and we're going to install that. I got it right here. Got this from eBay. It was in the original XL packaging, and the deal was pretty good, so I bought 2 of them. So I've got 2 of these just in case, because they fail, and they seem to be getting more challenging to find. So anyway, I'm going to get started on this and hopefully not drop the camera in the process, but there's the area it goes to. I also see I have an oil line I need to replace, but I want to get this done first, and then I'll do the oil line. So this is going to go in. We've got to put a couple of pieces on it, so let me get started on that. It's going to be the spring, which is a little dirty, so I'll clean the spring up. The spring is going to go into the shaft, and then it's a spacer and 2 bolts from there. So it should be pretty straightforward on how to get this done, and then give it a go. We're going to do this live, so the lights come on, battery's connected. Let's see what happens. Ay, ay, ay. Nothing. So it wasn't the solenoid. This thing is been through hell and back, and so what I'm finding so far is a nut backed out of the clutch basket, and I'll show you that, or bolt. You can see one's missing there, right? And then that chewed up a little bit on the inside of the inner prime area. I don't need to show you that. That bolt went somewhere, and what I think happened is pieces went up into the Bendix, and so that wasn't really engaging smoothly. Like you'd hit the starter, and I thought the solenoid was bad, but that was kind of silly because the contacts were closing and the starter was spinning, but nothing else was happening. And so on further examination, this wouldn't engage cleanly with the ring gear, although I don't feel many defects. The ends of the pinion on the starter were a little chewed up. The rest of them are good, I guess, where they were protected, but I think a piece of that hardware that broke off of the clutch basket made its way up here, and then you can see that detail? That kind of looks like some monkey business, like something was getting caught and getting ground up in there. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it's a mess. But now we're just going to have some fun, because now we're going to go in search of Leonard Nimoy. So we're going to get like a magnet and a screwdriver, and we're going to see all the weird shit that got underneath the Bendix assembly, starter motor assembly, because it looks kind of interesting. So let's see what we come up with when we search in there. And by the way, what a mess to get that out. My goodness, no wonder people build choppers. They take the bike apart to fix it, and then they're like, well, shit, the hell if I'm putting that back together again. So, okay, enough of my foul language. Here we go. So, first thing is, what's this? Look at that. Mud dauber thing. In the engine. That's pretty cool. It's fresh find. There's more of that. Man, that is cool stuff. And then I saw this little guy. What's that? A little screw. I wonder what that's from. That looks like the screw to the cover of the starter motor. Huh. See, this is making me believe that they had problems and they went in there to fix it and they just shit their pants when they saw all the damage. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll put that aside. Any other goodies floating around in here? Anything magnetic? Ooh, what's that? No. I feel like the guy's doing the magnet fishing in the river kind of stuff, you know. But look at this mess. I gotta clean all this up. And another thing is like finagling the starter drive assembly out was crazy. And then look at this. Talk about no shit's given. Look at that rear motor mount bolt, huh? Is that loose? Maybe. I mean, that's like the bare minimum, right? Just kind of check on your motor mount. It's got to do that. But I do like the chain oiler. Can't wait to get that connected. Anyway, all right. Mud dopper and a screw. That's what I found. So really, we've got this assembly all together here. So that's all together. Over here. I'll take this off for now. We really need to get this lever done. I don't know if you can see the difference, but see how this one's all bent and tweaked? And this is flat. It's supposed to look like this. And that's what we had. So that might have something to do with it, not being able to push the starter gear into position properly. And this is the screw that holds everything together. So we would start by putting this here. It's the solenoid assembly. And the challenging part to me is figuring out, you know, where this goes. Oops, doesn't go like that. It goes like this. And so we have to think like it pulls in like this, and it pushes out. So it would be just like that. And then it pulls in like this when it actuates. And so, in looking at that, there's two springs, or a spring would go here, right? A cap, this being the cap, a retainer, whatever you call it. And this roll pin. So if I do this correctly, I hope I'm doing it correctly. I go there, and then this little cup goes in, like that. And there's probably a much easier way to do this that I'm unaware of. There we go. I think that's how it goes. Except I'm going to put some oil on it so that it all moves nicely. So I'm just going to put a drip of oil in here. And put that screw in like this. Right. And before I finish that up, oops, I have this assembly all together. It seems correct to me. Okay, you don't do it like that. What I do is put this in first. Is that right? There we go. That's correct. And then, okay, so that's where I did it wrong. So I have to pop this out. Maybe slide that up. I didn't use a screwdriver. I used this thing. It's for my Triumph. It engages really nicely with a screw. I just want to show you that. And then, like someone else buggered it up before in the past with the screwdriver. But that screw holds everything together. You've got the whole assembly in, like that. I put some oil here where the little fingers are, and you can see this mechanism goes back and forth. This should be getting pushed away like this in its normal state, and then when the solenoid fires, it will pull in like that, and that will engage the starter gear. And that, of course, will be seated all the way, so let me simulate that again. Boop, 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 boop. So that's what we got, all back together. Thank goodness. So I'll pack it up for now. Of course, this goes here. That's the part that was on my passenger peg. If you watch my 79 video, somebody put this on the passenger peg mount under the primary cover. And that's where I saw it, so I just left it there. One of my viewers was like, ah, that's wrong. Take that off, put it back. So anyway, that'll go there. All right, that's all I got. Okay, it's not like, you know, I'm just going to do this and pretend I didn't just test it. But let's just go over this. This bike didn't start. The components of the starter Bendix were destroyed. Mainly this guy here. And wouldn't engage because it wouldn't throw the Bendix or the starter gear onto the ring gear. And then because of that, I opened it up, right? Clutch is stuck. Clutch plates warped, had to replace all those, did with Barnett stuff. Got a ton of great feedback from the Ironhead Sportster garage folks. The guy Will there is absolutely amazing. Anyway, I'm so lucky to have found such a knowledgeable group of guys. The 73 Sportster is the biggest pain in the ass to take that starter assembly out and then be able to remove it. And then I found like all the oil lines are cracked and stuff, so I had to replace those. And I really didn't think I assembled this. I thought I made a mistake. Double checked everything. And I went to start it, nothing happened. I realized I had the kill switch on. But I'll show you a couple of things. I'm going to turn the lights out. because this is kind of where the fun stuff starts to happen. So most of the lights are turned out. Okay, key is on, right? And then I'm gonna just put that there. And here. Okie dokie. Well, I'm getting spark, and it is starting. I mean, it's turning the starter motor, and it sounds like it wants to go. So I'm super stoked, and I can't thank Will and the gang over there at the Ironhead Sportster Garage enough for all their help. All right, onward and upward.